Hello, and welcome to this session on understanding the ecology in urban planning using green infrastructure as a concept. We all know that ecological literacy has great roots and involvement in the planning process that would be useful starting point for the decision making. Planners needs to know how this ecological information can be used into the action across various scales. Moving on to the fundamentals of knowing the ecology, here is the whole system of understanding right from atoms to the universe, in which there are this level of organization of ecology consisting of biospheres till the organization, and the largest scale in the organization being biosphere has the total sum of ecosystem on the planet. The second category is the biomes in which all these organizations and the categories that are residing in a particular location or the region consist of Earth's ecosystem, mainly according to the structure and composition of the vegetation existing there. Then comes the level of ecosystem in which the particular community or a living organization are interacting with non-living and living component in the surrounding environment. Then comes the system of community, which is nothing but the particular type of association of a population of two different species interacting and occupying the same geographical area at a particular point of time. Then comes the level of population, which has the main dynamics of change and which deals with the ways in which populations are giving birth and the death rate are uh, being assessed. And it has also the roots with the kind of immigration or the migration pattern happening. And the last level is the individual unit of organism, that is a continuous living system in which any animal survives. So this is the total set of ecology as per the understanding is concerned. Now we move to the basic fundamental understanding of the three terms that are often being used in the understanding of this, namely environment, ecology, and ecosystem. So the basic fundamental definition of the environment is nothing but the elements that surrounds the biotic as well as abiotic life, and the study of the interrelationship of the human with this surrounding environment is termed as ecology, whereas ecosystem is nothing but just a subset of ecology showing the relationship between the environment and the human. The interesting fact is that how they are interacting with each other gives us the answer as to what is the urban ecology. So we can say that there is a natural way of existence in which there is a interaction happening, and we can say it is mainly a biophysical feature having self natural cycle of creations. So there are many systems that comprise of this whole ecosystem, and they are linked by physical space they share and by the channels through which the energy, material, and the information flows. So, and in the urban biosphere, we can say there are man-made structures that are created because of the necessary intervention required by a particular population, and they are in continuous interaction with each other. That is why in context of urban setting, we can say if somebody is trying to understand the environment, the question is what is available in the urban context. If somebody is trying to understand the ecology in the urban context, they would have a question like how are happening in this urban context. And if somebody is doing the inquiry on the ecosystem, they would have a question like how they are interacting within the larger whole, or maybe the kind of benefits that are created for the humans in the form of services, they can be studied from the lens of ecosystem services. So basically all these interactions that are happening in the urban context are creating different types of impact, whether positive or negative, is what one can do the detailed inquiry of. So, this brings us to the understanding that ecology is the scientific analysis of and the study of the interaction happening among organisms and their environment, or it can be looked upon as the study of interaction of the organism with each other, which has abiotic component in their environment, or simply it is a subject matter uh, of ecology in the entire world, including living and the non-living parts. Now, the various topic of interest for the ecology can include the diversity, distribution, biomass, number of population of particular organism at a particular location, as well as the cooperation and the competition between these organisms, both within or among the ecosystem. So that is the understanding of all these three definitions. Moving on further, in context of urban ecology, we can say it is nothing but a relationship of living organism with each other and with their surrounding in the context of urban environment. Further, it can simply be termed as the study of ecosystem, which includes living organism in the cities having urbanizing landscape as a dominant feature. And this tries to understand how human ecological process coexist in human dominated system, and which helps the societies with their efforts to become more sustainable. So there is a continuous flux of inquiry coming from different disciplines and domain, and that is why it has got deep root in many disciplines like sociology, geography, urban planning, landscape architecture, engineering, economics, anthropology, climatology, public health, and many more that one would like to decode. Moving on further, there are three important paradigms that are happening in the urban ecological domain. The change in viewing the ecological science from purely theoretical to highly scientific based knowledge is the significant shift in understanding the urban ecology perspective from many angles. The precise ecological information catering to individual benefit to mass benefit is commendable shift and extension in paradigms in urban ecology. The most popular paradigm for any urbanized area can be studied through three main anecdotes, namely ecology in, ecology of, and ecology for cities, wherein city is a referential term for the urban dominant settlements. These three popular diagrams are shown in this figure, and all these three diagrams represent a distinctive area of interest and approach that can be represented as the evolution of three possible field of study. Like the urban ecology and city approach is mainly related to bioecological approach, whereas the ecology of cities is related to socio-ecological system approach, which has got hybrid patches in it. And the third, the most important one, whereby ecology for cities is looking for more sustainable and resilient kind of approach, is nothing but a stewardship approach, which is trying to understand the influential patches which will be used as a decision making tool. Moving on further to the ecosystem understanding, these diagram represents various layers of urban ecosystem present in any area. So one can see that urban ecosystem is nothing but comprising of urban atmosphere, urban biosphere, urban hydrosphere, urban lithosphere, and the built system. Already, Millennium Ecosystem Assessment have carved out the basic guidelines for looking at these systems in which the natural capital has the direct relationship with the well-being, and so it must be looked upon for necessary engagement and the assessment of land use changes. So, if we look to understand from this perspective of ecosystem service, we are more concerned about looking at how this urban sustainability approach can be used for decision making. Out of this whole system, one detailed inquiry can be done in the vegetation cover index, which can be used as a tool to enhance any system. So let's try to understand what is the meaning of green infrastructure. So as per the famous definition given by the Commission of Architecture and Built Environment: green infrastructure is the network of natural places and systems in and around and beyond the urban areas. This includes trees, parks, gardens, allotments, cemeteries, woodlands, green corridors, and wetland. And the similar type of definition given by the European Commission is talking about the strategically planned network of natural and semi natural areas with other environmental features designed and managed to deliver the wider range of ecosystem service. But the latest definition of the green infrastructure given on the SRES platform is talking about strategically planned and managed network of open spaces, watersheds, wildlife habitats, parks, and other natural or semi natural areas that enrich and sustain the communities. So, if we try to understand the perspective of green infrastructure from this point of view, we can say vegetation cover, whether in the form of sparse or the dense vegetation, would surely be affecting the provisioning services, regulating services, and the cultural services. So, having presence of these kind of vegetation cover would definitely be a benefit to any urbanizing area, because they are directly indirectly controlling the food production, temperature, or the climate regulation, as well as giving the spiritual or recreational values in the form of parks and gardens. So depending on the varieties of the vegetation cover that one chooses to dominate the urban area, you can further understand it from the perspective of all these three services. So there are many ways which in which green concepts are enhanced across the globe in the planning decision. This is a famous diagram given by the Global Landscape Forum, which talks about varieties of decision making. Like in case of London, they have given the provision of the green belt, which is nothing but a system of open space that surrounds the city and use it as a buffer. Then there is a concept of green wedge given in the case of Copenhagen, which is nothing but a system of green wedges and the split development areas taken up as a decision making tool in planning. Whereas in case of Redstone, Netherlands, they have taken up the concept of green heart, which is a system of open spaces which is located inside the group of the cities. In case of Berlin and Vienna, they have developed the system of protected open areas, and that is why that concept is dominantly used in the highly urbanizing and metropolitan regions. In case of Rome and Frankfurt, they have developed the concept of green network, which is famously known as ecological network in the metropolitan area. So these are the different ways to enhance the green concept in the planning decision. So taking this kind of concept forward in case of Ahmedabad, if one tries to look at the topographical sheet, which is the layer of the drainage pattern and the water system, one can superimpose the layer of green vegetation cover. So here in this case of Ahmedabad, which has a dominant water river dissecting the cities into two parts and having all the water bodies all across, and the drainage pattern is layer is existing in this format, you can take a decision like concept of green buffer as shown in the diagram, or you can take the concept of the wedge and the consolidated open space to promote green spaces along the drainage channel, or you can take up the concept of green networking along the road network that is physically being developed later on as a planning decision. So by doing these kind of decision making in the planning, one can promote the green concepts, and these are the ways in which one can incorporate the green infrastructure and ecosystem services at a macro level. And this example is particularly for the case of Ahmedabad. This similar concept can be developed for any given cities which are going through the rapid process of urbanization and make the decision appropriate for the future. So, with this, we can summarize that ecology, where urbanization is the dominant feature. We can say it has to be more natural, realistic, and it has to focus on the sustainability. So these are physical, social, cultural, economic, and political era, but now it is the turn for the ecological enhancement. So we can summarize that the branch of ecology is known, but the impact created by the intervention is the niche area where there is a lot of scope to go ahead and find the appropriate solution for the correct approach of development. And this field of ecology can strengthen the knowledge of a planner by taking up the wiser decision from the perspective of sustainability in filling the existing and still to be discovered knowledge gaps, facilitating the integration of social and ecological science research, and bridge the communication gap between scientific knowledge and its practical application to facilitate the creation of a truly actionable science of urban ecology. So, with this, I thank you all, and we can say that considering the true value of ecosystem service in our policies and urban decision making, we can better manage our resources, and the way that would be not just economical environment but socially inclusive also. Thank you.